The average Amazon customer makes a purchase in 4.7 seconds. Not 4 minutes, not 4 hours. 4.7 seconds. That is less time than it took you to read this sentence inside your head. And that is not an accident. That is an engineering decision. Amazon holds a patent, United States Patent 5960411, for a system specifically designed to remove every single moment of hesitation between wanting something and owning it. They didn't just build a store. They built a behavioral bypass, a machine that routes your desire directly past the part of your brain responsible for rational evaluation. And that button, that quiet, rounded, harmless-looking button, is only the beginning. Behind it sit 7 layers of psychological architecture, each one designed by teams of behavioral scientists, UX researchers, and data engineers, all working toward one goal: to make you spend more and feel less. This is mind-rigged, and today, we decode all 7.
Trick number 1, the scarcity engine. The cognitive bias being exploited here is called loss aversion, a principle first documented by Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman. It describes a flaw in the human operating system. The pain of losing something is felt roughly twice as intensely as the pleasure of gaining it. When you see the words, "only 3 left in stock," your amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, releases a wave of cortisol. Your body enters a mild stress response, not because you need the product, but because your brain now perceives the possibility of not getting it as a threat. And under that neurochemical pressure, you don't evaluate, you don't compare, you click. That is not a warning label. That is a trigger mechanism, dressed in helpful red text.
Trick number 2, artificial anchor pricing. The cognitive bias here is the anchoring effect. Your brain does not evaluate prices in a vacuum. It evaluates them relative to the first number it sees. That crossed out $129, that is the anchor. Amazon places it there not to show you what the product was worth. They place it there to distort your perception of what it is worth. The moment your brain registers that original price, every number after it is judged against that anchor. $49.99 doesn't feel like $50 anymore. It feels like $80 saved. You experience a rush of satisfaction, as though you gained $80, when in reality, the product's actual market value across competing retailers was $52. You didn't save anything, but your brain felt like it did. And that feeling is what gets you to click.
Trick number 3, decoy friction removal. The neuroscience principle being weaponized here is the pain of paying, a phenomenon identified by Carnegie Mellon researchers using fMRI brain imaging. They discovered that the act of paying for something activates the insula, the same region of the brain that processes physical pain. Every click in a checkout process is a microdose of that pain. Every form field, every confirmation screen. Each one is a moment where the brain can whisper, "Do I really need this?" Amazon's patent eliminated all of them. One click and the product is purchased. No cart, no address reentry, no review screen. That is not convenience. That is surgical removal of every moment your rational brain could intervene. The insula never fires. The pain never registers. You experience acquisition without cost, at least without the feeling of cost. And by the time the feeling catches up, the package is already at your door. Trick number 4, hyper-personalized choice architecture. The bias being exploited is called commitment and consistency, documented by psychologist Robert Cialdini. Once a person has taken a small action, once they have said yes to something, their brain creates enormous internal pressure to remain consistent with that initial decision. When you place a camera in your cart, you have committed. You are now psychologically a person who is buying a camera. And when Amazon shows you a memory card, a carrying case, and a cleaning kit presented as what people like you also bought, saying no would feel inconsistent with the identity you just adopted. Each yes forges another link in the chain. You are not choosing 3 additional products. You are being pulled through a behavioral corridor, one where every door only opens forward. Trick number 5, asymmetric visual hierarchy. The psychological principle at work is the default effect,
A well-documented bias showing that humans overwhelmingly select whichever option is presented as the most visually prominent or pre-selected, even when it is not in their best interest. We don't choose what's best, we choose what's easiest to see. Amazon understands this perfectly. The subscribe and save button is designed to dominate your visual field, large, warm, action-colored. The one-time purchase option is deliberately muted, smaller font, cooler color, pushed lower. Your eye is being steered, not toward the option that benefits you, but toward the option that locks you into a recurring revenue loop that most consumers forget to cancel. The design is not neutral. The design is the manipulation. Trick number 6, the prime sunk cost trap. The cognitive distortion at play is the sunk cost fallacy, the irrational drive to continue investing in something simply because you have already invested in it, regardless of whether continued investment is beneficial. The moment you pay $139 for Prime, a silent accounting process begins inside your brain. Every month you don't order, your subconscious logs a loss, $11.58, wasted. That's psychological pressure. Not the free shipping, not the streaming, not the deals. That pressure is the engine. Amazon does not need you to love Prime. They need you to feel obligated by it. You don't order because you need things. You order because you've already paid, and your brain cannot tolerate feeling like it paid for nothing. The membership fee is not the product. Your guilt is the product.
Trick number 7, gamified social proof cascades. The bias being activated is the bandwagon effect, the deeply embedded survival instinct that tells your brain if the group is moving in one direction, you should follow. In evolutionary terms, this kept you alive. In commercial terms, this keeps you buying. 12,847 ratings. That number does not mean 12,000 people loved this product. It means Amazon's algorithm has curated a perception of consensus. The reviews you see first, the ones marked top review, are selected not by helpfulness alone, but by a proprietary ranking system that disproportionately surfaces emotionally positive, verified, purchase-linked reviews. Critical reviews, the 1-star and 2-star evaluations, are architecturally deprioritized. They exist, but they are buried beneath pagination walls, filter defaults, and sorting hierarchies designed to make you scroll past them. You are not reading a democratic consensus. You are reading a curated performance of agreement, engineered to make hesitation feel irrational. 7 tricks, 7 layers of behavioral architecture, each one built on decades of peer-reviewed psychological research, and each one deployed at a scale that reaches 310 million active users every single day. This is not conspiracy. This is commerce. And the difference between a consumer who is manipulated and one who is not willpower. It is not discipline. It is awareness. The moment you see the architecture, the scarcity triggers, the anchored prices, the friction removal, the curated proof, the moment you see it, it loses its power over you. You cannot be manipulated by a trick once you know its name. And that is what this channel is for. Every week, MindRig decodes one more layer of the invisible system, the behavioral architectures designed to exploit how you think, how you choose, and how you spend. If you want to keep seeing, subscribe, because the next video exposes the manipulation you carry in your pocket every single day.